Okay, this is part two. We're going to talk about CCleaner. So CCleaner, it's spelled CCleaner, and a lot of people ask me, what does the C stands for? Well, it stands for crap. So years ago, this was called Crap Cleaner when it first came out. I've literally been using CCleaner for probably 20 years, and I don't know who wrote it. It's an excellent program. It was always free, and then recently now they have a pro version, which is good if you want to upgrade to that. But CCleaner is a great tool, okay? And the first thing we need to do is download it. So the best place to go to download CCleaner is, of course, CCleaner.com. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Chrome, and then I'm going to close these tabs. I have my Chrome set up to start my email and some other things there. So we're going to just type in CCleaner.com. And like with most programs, what will happen is you'll go over to their website, and there's a pro version, there's the free download, but the free download also kind of tries to talk you into the pro version. But let's just go ahead and click free download. And what will happen is it will start downloading. And again, I'm using Chrome, so it's going to put it's going to store it into my download. If you don't change the options in Chrome, it'll just automatically download it into your downloads. I'll do a class on Chrome, but right now, just suffice it to say, I've gone into the Chrome settings, and I told it to ask me wherever it starts to download something. So what it's doing is it's wanting to put it in this folder right here, malware images. That was a folder I created earlier when we started the class. I'm going to actually put it in downloads, and then I'm going to click save. And it already exists. That's fine. I did it before, so I'll just click yes to replace it. And then up here in Chrome, if you click on this little download button, you'll see the status of it downloading. Now, once it's finished, we can just open CCleaner, the setup. This is the setup program which installs it. And while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and close the Chrome browser. We'll open that back up later. The CCleaner installation program should start here any second. Let's see, where did it go? I'm not sure why it didn't start. All right, let's go to my downloads folder, which is going to be under my name. And go to downloads, and CCleaner should be in there. There it is right there, and I'll double click it again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I had to actually go into downloads and double click it. Normally you don't have to do that, but this is the install for CCleaner. Again, like any of them, it's just saying please wait while I run. It's going to install, and we'll just let it run. Okay, it should be just about ready to actually start the install. You just got to be patient here. There we go. Okay, so this is the setup screen. We're going to click install. And again, it's got to do some more setup. You can actually click here, show details if you want to see the details. But when it's done installing, you get this screen right here. Okay. All right, so I don't care to see the release notes, so I'm going to uncheck this, and I want to click Run Cleaner. Now, what CCleaner does is it's a one-stop shop to clean up all of your history and cookies and temporary internet files. And so all that stuff I showed you back in part one using the Windows built-in tools, that was just to show you the tools that are built into Windows. What I always do is I use CCleaner. It automates things and makes it a lot quicker. So the first screen comes up. It says Start CCleaner. So what I usually do, there's a couple of settings that I do with CCleaner before we actually use it. I always just go ahead and say Start CCleaner. And then right here, now this is where this is an add-on. We talked about this before. So this is what I don't like about the new version of CCleaner. What it's doing is it's trying to also install AVG. Now, AVG, the antivirus, that's a whole other conversation. I used to use AVG. I used it for probably 10 years or more. AVG was sold out and merged with Avast, and then they sold out to Norton. So I'm pretty sure now Norton owns them, and AVG has turned into more of an ad. It's turned into more of a buy this, buy this, buy this type of a thing. So honestly, with that happening and the fact that Windows Defender, the built-in Windows antivirus, is available, which by the way, you can just type in Defender on the bottom and you can start Windows Defender, the antivirus, which we'll talk about in a little bit. I don't even use an antivirus like a third party anymore. I just use the Windows Defender that's built into it. Now, there's a lot of discussion around that. I'm probably stepping on some toes. If you want to pay for a antivirus, Norton or McAfee or some of the others, they still exist, but a lot of the features of the or functions of those antiviruses are really just to upsell you other products. Now, again, I'm sure I'll get corrected on this and somebody can send some comments on this of your favorite antivirus, but if you don't want to pay for something, I've been very successful in just using Windows Defender, CCleaner, and Malwarebytes, and I've never been infected, so I've been very happy with that. So anyway, back to this. We're going to say decline. I don't want to install AVG. Again, here's the sales pitch. Do you want CCleaner Professional? No, I just want the free, so I'm going to select free, and then it comes up and says, let's run your first scan, so we'll do that, and it's going to run the first scan. And now, what this does is it wants to close these programs that's running, and it'll come up with a list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just uncheck these, and then I'm going to say skip because I don't want it to knock out my open broadcast software that I'm recording this with. Now, this is the very first time that you're running the scan, or very first time you're running CCleaner, so it's doing this scan. I kind of get impatient, so I usually hit cancel here. And I just let it cancel because I want to go through some of these options over here. The main thing I use on CCleaner, again, this is an overview class, so I'm just going to touch quickly on some of these things. Custom clean. I don't really do the health check. It goes through and does some stuff, but I usually jump right into custom clean. And if you look at this, there's two sections. There's this tab up here that says Windows, and then there's this tab that says Applications. Okay. Bottom line, CCleaner is going to delete all of these things that are checked. Now, it's not going to delete your passwords, so your passwords are safe unless you select this option right here for save passwords. But see, then it gives you a warning. So I don't want to uninstall passwords or delete passwords. So these are the Windows things: Edge, Internet Explorer, Windows Explorer. If you scroll down through here, system files. See, again, remember we looked at some of these things back early on in the Windows tools. Just use CCleaner, man. You'll be okay. It goes through and does all these things. And there's other things you can go through and play around with. But the main thing is I just leave it to the default. Under applications, this is like the third-party applications. I've got Firefox on the computer. I've got Google Chrome on the computer. So I usually let it go through and clean those as well. Okay? So that's what I usually do. I usually just hit custom clean, and I come down here and hit run cleaner. And the very first time you do this, it's going to give you a warning saying these are going to be deleted from your PC. And we know that. That's why we're running CCleaner. So we just check this box and click continue. And then it comes up and says Edge Chromium needs to be closed. Okay, so Chromium, this Edge Chromium, this is good to know because I didn't even realize this was running in the background, but it tells me it is. Yeah, it can close that. So let's hit yes. It's going to close that application. It's going across here, and this green bar will go all the way across. This could take just a couple of minutes, or this could take 15 or 20 minutes, but you basically just have to wait until this bar goes all the way across, and then your system is clean. How do you know it's done? It just says 100% right here, and then you're done. So we're going to wait just a second and let this finish up, and then we're going to show you a couple more things in CCleaner, and then we're going to move on to Malwarebytes. Okay, so it's done now, 100%. And it tells you what it cleared out, especially in Google Chrome. Look how much stuff was in Google Chrome. That's a lot. This Analyze button, I never really used that. The idea is to analyze it first, and it'll tell you what it's going to do, and then hit Cleaner, and then it does it. But honestly, I just let it do its clean, and I don't worry about it. It's always been good. Over here on the left, there's some extra things that we're going to skip over that are with the pay version. Performance Optimizer, never use it. Driver Updater, never use it. Software Updater, never use it. But I do go into Tools. It's not that these are bad. And if anybody from CCleaner is listening or watching this, you got a great product. It's just that these are things that, like if I'm going to do driver updates, I'm going to probably do those under a Windows update, which we can talk about that in more detail on another class. Or I'm going to go over, if I have a Dell, I'm going to go to the Dell website and run their driver updater for Dell. I really don't like third-party driver updaters at all. And the same with software updaters. I really don't like that either. I usually like to make those decisions myself. All right, so usually what I do is just custom clean, and then we come down here to tools. There's a good thing in here, so we're going to click on tools. In tools, there's some options here. I'm going to just skip over because mainly I never even use these. What I do is I use the startup option. This is where you can turn off things that start up in the computer. Remember the task manager we talked about how to start up? Well, CCleaner has a startup, and this is really what I use more than the task manager. But if we click on this, it again looks kind of similar to Task Manager, but it shows us the things that start up when the computer starts up. This is where, if you have malware and you're trying to get rid of it, this is one of the first things I do. I run CCleaner, I run Malwarebytes, I go into the app remove, remember, under the control panel, and I look for things to uninstall. Sometimes your computer is so slow because there's so much crap running on it, you have to kind of fight with it. And you have to go into CCleaner and see what's starting up when Windows starts up, and you need to disable that, and then you need to reboot Windows, because if you reboot Windows after you disable startup items, Windows should start up and run faster. And so you kind of have to go step by step by step. Now, sometimes your PC is so locked up and so slow, Windows just needs to be reinstalled, which is a whole other conversation. But the cleanup side of it, I try to go in and uninstall programs first and then see what's running when the computer starts up and disable those. So in this case, interestingly, like this first one, I don't like CCleaner to start up when the computer starts up because it's just going to pop up and say, get the pro version, get the pro version. So I usually disable this first. Again, CCleaner people that are out there, I love your product and I love the free version of it, and I hope you never force us to pay for it, but if you did, I'd probably pay for it. But anyway, I always disable CCleaner from starting up as well. So the startup tab is really good. These other things here like disk analyzer and duplicate finder, the registry cleanup. The only thing really other in here that I would look at would be the registry cleanup. You know, here's a bunch of stuff that nobody really understands, but they're bad stuff that we should clean up in the registry. So I usually just I've run this before, like I can do scan for issues, and it'll go through and find the issues, and then it'll come back, and I can go ahead and clean up the registry. It's not that you shouldn't keep the registry clean. It's just, honestly, I've not really seen much performance improvement by running the registry cleanup. So I don't really run it very often. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me you love it. This is the best thing since sliced bread. If you run registry cleanup and seen it, there might be some good stuff out there that it does. I'm sure it does, but I typically don't run the registry cleanup. So that's pretty much it for CCleaner. I install it, I run it, I let it do its own decisions based on the default options checked, and then I just let it do its thing. And then once that's done, I close CCleaner. So I'm going to close CCleaner. We're going to end this or end this topic on CCleaner and move on to Malwarebytes.